Welcome to the New Westminster Archives, a municipal repository of the documentary heritage, archiving New Westminster's evolution from British Columbia's first fledgling capital to a bustling 21st century city. The City of New Westminster recognizes that the archives are held on the unceded and unsurrendered lands of the Halkomelem-speaking peoples. We acknowledge that colonialism has made invisible their histories and connections to the land. As a city, we're learning and building relationships with the people whose lands we're on. In this video, we'll share some brief background on archival organization, research strategies, and some tips for using our online search tool. The New Westminster Archives is both a municipal and community archive for the City of New Westminster. The scope of the collection covers over 150 years and contains materials related to organizations, businesses, government, families, and individuals from the city's past. The archives hold a diverse set of materials including maps, photographs, city materials, letters, oral histories, and business documents such as minutes and ledgers. Like most archives, the primary organization form used here is based on the creator of the documents. This is considered the most important descriptive field for understanding the origin or source of the archival items. Within that framework, the archives are divided into collections and fonds. A collection describes items purposefully collected and arranged by a person or organization. One example might be the New Westminster Museum and Archives Oral History Collection. This was curated by New Westminster Museum and Archives staff to only include audio recordings collected and created between 1997 and 2003. Next, we have the fonds. The word has French origin and is spelled F-O-N-D-S. A fond is similar to a collection, but not made with intention. A fond consists of the natural accumulation of documents a person or organization makes or receives through their daily activities. The documents of an organization like the New Westminster Chamber of Commerce make up a fond. This is because the documents were arranged from the day-to-day use of the organization. These include minutes, reports, cash books, newspaper clippings, and other related material. Archival practice considers the original arrangement and order of both the fond and collection to be vital. Researchers might find it important to know, for example, that in one person's fond, they kept some letters they wrote separate from others. From a collection or fond, documents can be organized into further categories of a series, file, and item. Archival organizational standards indicate the best practice for what level of description and how detailed these descriptions should be. For some documents, description to the file or item level is not considered necessary. Understanding these basic principles and terms can be very helpful when setting out to search the archives. Next, we'll describe some more research strategies that can help guide your visit or search.
When you visit the archive in person or reach out online, our staff are happy to assist you in finding whichever items in our collection may support you in your research. Whether you know exactly what you are looking for or need more guidance, we have developed some reflection questions that are helpful to consider before your visit. To help illustrate our questions, we will describe archival research conducted by city staff as part of the 2010 Chinese Reconciliation Report. The research was conducted after request to City Council by Bill Chu of the Canadians for Reconciliation Society in 2009. The research became the first of its kind to be undertaken by a municipal government in Canada. The first question one might ask is, what is my research question? It's helpful to have at least a topic or institution in mind before beginning this process. Unlike libraries, our physical archives are not open to browsing. When visiting, our archivists will pull requested documents from our vault for guests to look through in our reading room. For the City of New Westminster's search, city staff utilize the archives on behalf of the City Council. The research goal was to create a report on the history of racism and discrimination against the Chinese community and any role that the city may have played in these events. Our next question is, what kinds of documents am I looking for? Sometimes the answer to this may be indirect or require a bit of expertise. If you're struggling with this, it might be important to ask again what kind of information you are looking for. Often this question is much easier to answer with a well-defined research question. The city researchers were interested in both policies and practices of the city government. For practices, some actions may be considered informal and were not necessarily documented in municipal records. These may have been found in newspapers or other accounts from the period. For policies, city legislative texts, specifically council minutes, would describe where codified behaviors of the municipal government were passed. This information allows us to ask our next question. Who might have created this document? Even if you're asking a broader research question, consider what kinds of organizations or people could have created or collected this information. Even within the municipal government, the archives describe different institutions and levels of description. Not used in the search, for example, were records from the engineering department. For the city staff's reconciliation report, they reviewed city council minutes, which fell into the legislative services series. Next, it can be helpful to ask, when am I looking for? Our archive contains documents spanning over 150 years. Because of this, it's very important to specify a time frame when searching for specific items, even if you're only closest to the correct decade. Because of this, during the first phase of the reconciliation process, city researchers focused on the time period between 1860 and 1926. In narrowing their time frame, they were able to identify policies which had direct consequences for the Chinese community during this historic period of heightened discrimination. We recommend that you prepare for your visit to the archives by determining specific timeframes, which will help our staff locate the most relevant documents for you in a timely manner. Considering all of these questions may be helpful as you prepare to visit the archives and utilize our digital search tool. Research is often a recursive and iterative process, meaning you can revisit these questions again as needed to refine your focus. Next, we will give some tips on how to effectively search using our online database.
The new Westminster Archives can be searched digitally directly online. This search is particularly useful for photo collections, almost all of which have been digitized. The easiest tool to use is the keyword search bar found here at the top of the page. The database will look for all documents that include the terms you enter. The search terms written will apply in all descriptive fields, including title, description, creator, and context. Unlike some search engine websites, the search will not automatically look for corrected spelling, so make sure to be careful with what you enter. Our first tip for using advanced search is called phrase searching. If we enter and search the two words City Hall, the database will pull all records that show both of these words, but not necessarily together. You might unintentionally get a photograph like this of Fire Hall number 2, which in its description also includes the term Royal City. Back on the search page, if we type the word City Hall in quotation marks, the database will only show results where they're used together. We can also narrow and broaden our search terms with tools called Boolean operators. A key with examples of their use can be seen here on the right of the search page. Each Boolean operator is represented by a punctuation symbol. They can be used by placing the symbols in the search box with their search terms. I'll show some of the most common examples here. For the first three Boolean operators, it's helpful to visualize them with Venn diagrams. To use the AND operator, we type the AND symbol between our search terms and our search field. Here, entering May Day and May Queen will only show results that include both the search terminologies. This can be helpful if you're experiencing too many results from your initial query. The / represents the Boolean operator OR. Using it, you could use or search May Day or May Queen by again separating the terms with the operator. Your results will show all records that include either term, even if one is missing. This can be helpful either to broaden your search or if you expect some of the sources you're looking for to not include both descriptive terms. Using the exclamation point for the not operator, you can exclude words from your search results. Typing an exclamation point between salmon bellies and fishing excludes all results after the exclamation point. Here, we use it so that our search might focus on the lacrosse team, avoiding the term salmon bellies used in a different context. Do note that this would mean our search would not include a photograph described as a salmon bellies lacrosse member fishing on the Fraser River. Here, back at the advanced search page, you can use these Boolean operators in any of the search fields. These other search boxes function a little differently than the keyword bar. They only look for results in the data field specified. If you enter sports here in subject categories, you'll see results that match the subject category described, but would miss documents that only mention sports in the description. You can also query multiple search fields at the same time. If you do use multiple search fields, your search will function similarly to using the AND operator. That means your results will only show documents that meet the criteria of every search field used. If we enter Anvil Center, where the archives are located, here in the search, and then add the year 1905 in the date field, we won't get any results. This is because no documents mentioning the Anvil Center are dated to 1905. If you're using multiple fields and getting little or no results, consider leaving one field blank and trying again. Some of these search fields utilize controlled vocabularies, or a set list of words that can be used. Each search term entered then needs to be very precise. If you're not familiar with the terms, it can be helpful to view them first. These three search fields each have a button labeled Browse over on the right, starting with Fond and Collection, then names of persons, places, and objects, and finally subject categories. For this example, we'll click on the Browse button for Fond and the collections. Once clicked, a pop-up will open that shows a list of all the terms used for that field, appearing in alphabetical order. You can see here the names of the fond and collection that the documents in the database belong to. At the bottom of the page are navigational arrows we can click through both forward and backward to browse. The numbers on the right tell us how many documents belong to that collection or fond. We can add them to our search page also. Each time we click on one, it'll be added to the text box below and to the respective search bar on the back page. Once you've clicked the terms you wish to use, close the pop-up window, and you'll see them entered. You might notice they've been entered with the OR Boolean, so this search will query all of the documents belonging to the Irving family collection and the J. Louis Sangster fond. For the next set of Booleans that we recommend using, we'll use the date field towards the bottom of the advanced search page. As we suggested in our research strategies, narrowing your results by date can save potentially hours of time searching. If you already have a range of years, that's great. To search within a range of years, you can use this Boolean trick. If you place a colon between your earliest and latest year, your results will filter for all documents found between the two. We would see only the two results illustrated here on the timeline. You can also use the greater than and less than symbols if you're not sure of the range, but do have an earliest or latest date. The less than symbol, placed to the left of 1930, will show only results of documents before the year. Typing the greater than symbol, again to the left, with the open side facing away from the year, will show only results in years after 1930. If you want to include the year you're using in the results, you can include the equal symbol. We can repeat the previous search, but include the equal symbol to the right of the greater than symbol and our year. Now our search will include records with a year greater than 1930 and including 1930. These tips can be helpful to review during your search. We hope this tutorial answers some of the basic questions about archives, archival research, and using our online search tool. If you want to reach out and schedule a visit, contact us by email or give us a call. You can also check the website for up-to-date walk-in hours.